Alright, YouTube, check out the Dying USA Today, or probably like the New York Times or any of the Atlantic, Wall Street Journal, all these other sort of newsprint media outlets. Yellow journalism rags, really. They're no different from the Star, the Inquirer. In fact, they're less entertaining. What are they saying today? Oh, be worried, America. Be very concerned. Trump is going to appoint a white male to the Supreme Court. Oh no! White males are evil, as you all know. It's hilarious to see that so many people on the more fanatic side of the actual left don't see how this is racially tinged. Oh, these damn white males, they're always trying to oppress other people. They're fucking backwards, Neanderthal relics of a past age. If only we could just fucking wipe white males off the face of the earth. Yeah, there's nothing racist about that. It's perfectly okay. We've got a weird society in which it's perfectly acceptable for a multi-million-dollar corporate conglomerate. Think about it this way. If a multi-million-dollar media entity being backed by banks and corporations and celebrities and all that sort of crap, like the USA Today, Wall Street Journal, whatever it is, if they came out and said, oh, well, Obama is going to appoint a black male to the Supreme Court, you should be worried, their heads would explode for the most part. Oh my god, you're stereotyping. It's so evil and so racist. How can you possibly say these things? It'd be a massive boycott. They'd lose like half their advertising revenue overnight and they'd fold. They'd issue a retraction. They'd fire whoever's name was on the story. They'd say, yes, in retrospect, we never should have even hired this person. He's like total scumbucket or something like that. We're very, very sorry. Please buy our magazine or our newsprint again. Please advertise with us. We promise that we're not Nazis or something like that. Meanwhile, they run a story that says basically the same thing about white males. Of course, I'm fairly obviously white and male myself, saying that there's something systemically wrong with this entire racial and gender category. And nobody bats an eye. Nobody talks about it. It's not like you have to go more generally to the alternative news to find criticism of people of color or women or whatever it happens to be. It's like if the mainstream media didn't even want people to criticize Clinton. They're like, oh, you're holding her to unfair standards. They'd never hold a male to these standards. They'd never ask a male why they thought the Russians were involved with their email hack. It's no question in our minds. They never would have asked them such a thing. Only because she has boobs does she get asked these hard questions. In reality, 99% of the coverage was just fawning over her, let's face it. Those of us who in many cases, early on, didn't even have a horse in the race. I was a Johnson supporter for months. We could see it too. When I was just a libertarian, like I was going to vote for Johnson, I was like, oh, it's obvious that the media really hates Trump and really loves Clinton. They don't ask her anything. They don't even talk to her. She won't even give a press conference. They don't even ask her why half the time. But you have a story here from a lamestream legacy outlet. Oh, Trump's going to appoint white males to the Supreme Court. Oh, no. Yeah. So? What the fuck does that... Why does it make a difference? All these people that are so obsessed with the racial issue, they're constantly talking about how we need more diversity, we need more women in this job, we need more black people in that job. You never seem to complain that there are too few females in coal mines or something like that. I wonder why. Well, it's always the boardroom or some... high-level, like, PhD profession, something like that. What about the coal mines? I think there's too few females working there. Why don't you get into the coal mine industry? Is it because there's something wrong with you, with your mentality? And you know what I think? I think that men and women are geared towards different types of work because of the fact that their bodies produce different levels of and different types of hormones. It's just a mental trait that they happen to have. It's not universal, and I don't really care. I don't care if females work in coal mines. I don't care if men do, floral work or something. It doesn't matter. Who gives a fuck? But for the legacy media to come out and write a story like this, which is so blatantly racially tinged that it should get people really, really outraged, and to get no flack for it because instead of saying blacks or women, it says white males. It's just hilarious. Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of us voted for Trump. It isn't because we're Neanderthals. It isn't because we ourselves are racist. It's because we look at the legacy media and all we see is criticism of our of our racial and gender-based group. All we see is a bunch of idiots saying, oh, we're the oppressors. You know, some white dude living in a trailer park, he's like on unemployment. He's an oppressor, he's got white privilege. But some black PhD, oh, that's fine. You know, still an underprivileged minority or something like that. It's just not the way the world works. I've already covered the myth of white privilege before, because that's what it is. It honestly is a myth. It does not exist. It's not real. There's no male privilege. There's no white privilege. There's fiscal privilege. There's the privilege of being, having social connections could be a form of privilege. Those are very real. They're tangible things. If a person has billions of dollars, yeah, they're more privileged. They get caught smoking weed. You think that they're going to go to prison for 10 years? Probably not. Happens all the time. Celebrities, you know, because of their recognition. They have privilege. They have crowds of, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of people that can sort of shield them from their own malfeasance and wrongdoing in some cases. That's why you see a celebrity, they kill someone in a car accident. They're like drunk, they drive down the road, smash into someone. They get like a couple of years in jail. Some normal average Joe goes away for 30 years for, you know, on some sort of just second-degree murder or something like that. So that's privilege. Privilege is you're really, really rich or you're really, really famous, and so you're kind of shielded from the consequences of your actions. Privilege is not having less or more melanin in your skin or having a certain set of sexual organs. It doesn't exist. So when I see this sort of crap, oh, white males, the Supreme Court, oh, be very worried. There are already white males in the Supreme Court. What are you so fucking concerned about? Roberts is a white male. You know, the funny thing about John Roberts is he's actually like always the swing vote. He's the one that saves the ACA. People should be praising him, but he's too white, he's too male for you? Oh, what does he have to do? Does he have to come out in blackface? Does he have to transgender himself in order for you to tolerate him? It gets to the really funny point at which they even bicker over which minorities in the legacy media and like the social justice retard left that they even want to support. It's like, which is higher, a black man or a transgendered white person? Which is higher on our hierarchy of suffering and privilege? A transgendered Asian or a trans lesbian white dude? You know, it just gets into all these weird subcategories, like the Tumblr genders and stuff like that. It just gets into a bunch of really weird crap nobody can even figure out. It's basically limited to a very small proportion of like internet hangout spaces. They're safe spaces, they're echo chambers. And it's quite similar to watching like the fringe of the fringe of the fringe of the so-called alt-right, the goose-stepping crowd and stuff, pile onto a Ramsey Paul video as I've seen them do in the last 24 hours and ramble about how he's not actually alt-right, he's not far-right enough because he doesn't have like a swastika tattooed on his forehead or something. It's very, very funny. It's the same sort of principle. But the legacy media invariably gets away with this crap. I've seen Salon support concepts like Salon had a headline some time ago. They're like, oh, well, pedophilia is just a mental illness. It's not like actually a crime or something. So what are you people smoking? What are you people thinking? Thank goodness you're not in control of designing all of society and you only have limited leverage, decreasing every day because of your own stupidity. Thank goodness for that. Or we'd be living in a cesspit. It'd look like the medieval ages. We'd have like dirt floors and thatched roofs because it'd be more environmentally friendly. So the USA today is full of crap. Not that we didn't know that already. It's not any better or worse than the New York Times or any of these other rags and outlets. Some of them are online only. Some of these aren't even legacy media per se. Not like from newsprint or TV era. Some of them, like Salon, they're sort of like post-90s or sometimes post-2000s magazine. Yellow journalism rags. They're just a political discourse that happens to be really, really far to the left or to the right. And it's really funny to watch the USA Today post this like there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, white males on the Supreme Court. Oh, no. What if I created an article saying, oh, well, Obama wanted to appoint a black female to the Supreme Court. Be afraid, America. There's problems with this. Oh, these same people would be like, oh, well, this must be some Nazi blog or something like that. It's pretty funny to see. That's about all. Peace out.